Hello students, good morning to all of you. In last video, we completed study of some complexes according to valence bond theory. So in previous video, first of all we studied valence bond theory, and after that, according to valence bond theory, we studied structure of some complexes. So in today's video, we are going to study the next article from the topic, and that article is limitations of valence bond theory. Valence bond theory, that is VBT. So let's study limitations of valence bond theory. So limitations or disadvantages or demerits of valence bond theory. So first limitation is it cannot explain the colors of coordination compounds. First limitation is valence bond theory. It cannot explain the color of coordination compound. So it cannot explain the colors of that is spectral properties, so it cannot explain colors of, that is spectral properties of coordination compounds or coordination complex. Coordination compounds. So this is the first limitation of valence bond theory. So majority of complex compound or coordination compounds are colored, but valence bond theory, it cannot explain about the color of complexes or color of coordination compounds. So this is the first limitation. Then the second limitation is it does not distinguish between weak field and strong field ligand. It does not distinguish between weak field and strong field ligand So in earlier video we studied there are different types of ligands. So ligands are also classified as weak field ligand and strong field ligand. So valence bond theory, it cannot distinguish between weak field and strong field ligands. That is cannot explain high spin or low spin nature of complex. That is cannot explain high spin or low spin nature of complexes. So valence bond theory, it cannot distinguish between two types of ligand, and these two types of ligands are weak field ligand and strong field ligand. So it cannot distinguish between weak field and strong field ligand, that is cannot explain high spin and low spin nature of complexes. That means it cannot explain why some complexes are high spin complexes or why some complexes are low spin complexes. So it cannot gives idea about nature of certain complexes like high spin complex or low spin complexes. So this is the another limitation of valence bond theory. Then next limitation is it cannot explain why some complexes are inner complexes and some complexes are outer complexes for same metal ion in the same oxidation state. See once again. So it cannot explain why. It cannot explain why some complexes, why some complexes. It cannot explain why some complexes are inner complexes. Some complexes are inner complexes and some are outer complexes and some are outer complexes. So it cannot explain why some complexes are inner complexes and some are outer complexes for the same metal ion. For the same metal ion. For the same metal ion in the same oxidation state. In the same oxidation state. So this is the another limitation of valence bond theory. So valence bond theory or VBT, it cannot explain why some complexes are inner complexes and why some complexes are outer complexes for the same metal ion in the same oxidation state. Metal ion, it is same. Its oxidation state, it is also same. Metal ion is same, its oxidation is same, but still, why some complexes are inner complexes and why some complexes are outer complexes, it cannot be explained by valence bond theory. Then the next limitation is it cannot explain magnetic moments. It cannot explain magnetic moments other than magnetic moment calculations from number of unpaired electrons. So it cannot explain magnetic moments. It cannot explain magnetic moments. Magnetic moments other than magnetic moment calculation. Other than magnetic moment calculation. Other than magnetic moment calculations from number of unpaired electrons. From number of unpaired electrons. So it cannot explain VBT, it cannot explain magnetic moments other than magnetic moment calculations from number of unpaired electrons. It does not explain magnetic moments. It does not explain. It does not explain magnetic moments. Magnetic moment. Magnetic moment arising from orbital motion of electron. Orbital motion of electron. So valence bond theory, it cannot explain magnetic moments other than magnetic moment calculations from number of unpaired electrons. It does not explain magnetic moment arising from orbital motion of electron. So VBT explained magnetic moment calculation from number of electrons. It explains magnetic moment calculations from number of unpaired electron, but cannot explain magnetic moment arising from orbital motion of electron. So it cannot explain magnetic moment arising from orbital motion of electron, but it explains magnetic moment calculation from number of unpaired electron, but it cannot give satisfactory explanation about the magnetic moment that arises due to the orbital motion of electron. So remember that VBT cannot explain magnetic moment arising from orbital motion of electron, and this is one another limitation of valence bond theory. Then the next limitation is it cannot always explain correlation of magnetic behavior based on magnetic moments. So next limitation is it cannot always explain correlation of it cannot always explain correlation of magnetic behavior. Correlation of magnetic behavior. Correlation of magnetic behavior based on so it cannot explain correlation. It cannot explain correlation of magnetic behavior based on geometry of complex. Geometry of complex or complexes. So VBT also cannot explain magnetic behavior based on the geometry of complexes, or it cannot explain correlation of magnetic behavior based on geometry of complex. On the basis of geometry, magnetic behavior is shown by complexes, and magnetic behavior on the basis of geometry of complexes it cannot explain by valence bond theory. Then there is one another limitation. So it cannot predict exactly. It cannot predict exactly the tetrahedral and square planar. The tetrahedral and square planar. So it cannot predict exactly the tetrahedral and square planar structure of 4 coordinate. So limitation number 5 and limitation number 6, these limitations are not given in our textbook, but These are also the limitations of valence bond theory. So you can write these limitations in the examination also, though they are not given in your textbook. So sixth limitation is it cannot predict exactly the tetrahedral and square planar structure of four coordinates. So tetrahedral structure and square planar structure of four coordinate, it cannot predict exactly by the valence bond theory. So here we completed limitations of valence bond theory. So valence bond theory, it cannot give explanation about some facts. That's why these are the limitations of valence bond theory. Then after limitation of valence bond theory, in our textbook the next article is crystal field theory. Crystal field theory or its applications. So these parts from the syllabus are deleted. So after limitation of valence bond theory, the next articles up to applications of coordination compounds are deleted. Remember that. That means crystal field theory, its application, these parts are omitted from the syllabus or deleted from the syllabus of the year 2020-2021. So therefore, after limitation of valence bond theory, next article is applications of coordination compounds. So this is the last article in this topic, applications of coordination compounds. So coordination compounds are very useful to human beings, or in another word we can say that coordination compounds are useful in various fields, like in biological field, in medicines. It is also useful to estimate hardness of water, then also useful in electroplating, then also in extraction of metals. So these are the applications of coordination compounds. So coordination compounds are useful in biological fields, in medicinal fields, in determining the hardness of water. It is also useful in electroplating, also useful in ion extraction of metals. So let's study these applications in detail. So the first application is coordination compounds are useful in biological field. So let's study this application. Application of coordination compound in biology. So several coordination compounds plays important role in number of processes occurring in plants and animals. In plants and animals, several processes are taking place, and in such processes, several coordination compounds they plays very important role. So several coordination compounds, several coordination compounds, several coordination compounds plays important roles, plays important role, plays important role in number of processes, in number of processes occurring in plants and animals, occurring in plants and animals. So various processes occurring in our plants and animals. In such processes, coordination compound plays very important role. So several biologically important natural compounds are metal complexes. Several biological important several biological important several biological important or biologically important several biologically important natural compounds are metal complexes are metal complexes. So several biologically important natural compounds are the metal complexes. For example, chlorophyll. For example, chlorophyll. So chlorophyll is present in the plants and it is helpful in the photosynthesis. So chlorophyll present in plants. Chlorophyll present in plants is a complex of magnesium. So chlorophyll, it is important in the process, and that process it is the photosynthesis. So this chlorophyll, it is the complex or coordination compound, and it is the complex of which metal? It is the complex of magnesium metal. Then in our body, hemoglobin is present in the blood. So hemoglobin present in blood. So hemoglobin present in blood, it is also the coordination compound of iron. Hemoglobin present in blood. Hemoglobin present in blood is a complex of iron. Then there is one another example, vitamin B12. Vitamin B12, it is also present in our body, and vitamin B12 is complex of metal, and that metal is cobalt. So in such a way that coordination compounds are useful in biology. So several coordination compounds plays important role in number of processes which are taking place in plants and animals. So several biologically important natural compounds are metal complexes. Several biologically important natural compounds are metal complexes. For example, chlorophyll. Natural complex. So chlorophyll, it is present in plant and it is the complex of which metal? Magnesium metal. Then hemoglobin, it is the natural compound present in blood, or it is the complex present in blood, and it is the complex of which metal? Iron. Likewise, vitamin B12, it is also complex, and it is the complex of which metal? Cobalt metal. Then let's study the next application of coordination compound, that is in medicines. In medicines also coordination compound plays important role. So complexes also have been used in medicines. Complexes also have been used in medicines. Complexes also have been used in medicines. So, for example, for example, complexes have been used in medicines. For example, platinum complex. For example, platinum complex. Platinum complex, cisplatin. Cisplatin. So platinum complex, cisplatin, its formulation is cis, its configuration it is cis. So cis, and its formula is Pt Cl2 NH3 twice. So complex, platinum complex cisplatin, it have been used. It have been used in the treatment of cancer. So cisplatin it is a complex, and this complex it is used in the treatment of cancer. Then take one another example, EDTA. EDTA. So ethylene diamine tetraacetic acid, it is the complex compound. So EDTA is used in medical field. EDTA is used for the treatment of EDTA is used for the treatment of lead poisoning. For the treatment of lead poisoning. Ethylene diamine tetraacetic acid, it is a complex, and this complex it is used for the treatment of lead poisoning. So thus coordination compounds are useful in medicines also, or certain medicines can be prepared by using complex compounds or coordination compounds. Then the next application of coordination compound is to estimate hardness of water. To estimate hardness of water. So hardness of water is due to the presence of certain ions, and these ions are Ca2 plus and magnesium 2 plus ions. Hardness of water. Hardness of water. So hardness of water is due to presence of Ca2 plus and Mg2 plus ions. In water, Ca2 plus and Mg2 plus ions are present. So hardness of water, it is due to the presence of these Ca2 plus and Mg2 plus ions. If these ions are present in large amount, then certain water, it is called as hard water. So hardness of water, it is due to the presence of Ca2 plus and magnesium 2 plus ions in it. So the ligand EDTA forms. The ligand EDTA forms. EDTA means ethylene diamine tetraacetic acid. So the ligand EDTA forms stable complexes. stable complexes. Ligand EDTA form stable complexes with Ca2 plus and Mg2 plus ions. Ca2 plus and Mg2 plus ions and can be used to estimate hardness. So listen once again. Coordination compound, it can be used to estimate the hardness of water. So in water, hardness is due to the presence of certain ions, and these ions are Ca2 plus ions and magnesium ions. So due to the presence of Ca2 plus ion and magnesium 2 plus ions, hardness in water is formed. So if these ions are more in water, then such water, it is the hard water. So hardness, it is due to the presence of these two ions. So the ligand EDTA, the ligand ethylene diamine tetraacetic acid, it forms stable complexes with Ca2 plus and Mg2 plus ion. So the ligand EDTA, it forms stable complexes with Ca2 plus and Mg2 plus ions, and it can be used to estimate the hardness of water. So thus here we completed one another application of coordination compound, and that application is coordination compound can be used to estimate hardness of water. So the next two applications of coordination compound we will study in next video. Thank you very much.